we've picked up how relationships have become a big staple within the discussion points of how people interact with, especially men interact with in their relationships. So what we've tried to do now is we want to start one specifically where it's the two opposing, right? And I'm saying opposing because we're actually one force. It's the yin and the yang, which creates one system. But it's speaking from the aspects of the challenges and the successes that I've found within our relationship and within relationships in general. And Helene's going to give her perspective, from the divine feminine side of how we've put this all together. So welcome. This will be the first of many going through, and Helene's going to give some insights on how she perceives relationships, and we're going to get started into a discussion on the entire process.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very excited to be here. We're going to be sharing a lot of information. Hopefully, a lot of what we share here today would actually help people to be better in their relationships, or at least, at the very, very least, have a starting point of understanding for their partner, or compassion for their partner and what their partner is going through. Because ultimately, compassion is what will bring you through to the other side. There's a lot of other things that go into it, but I think compassion is probably especially now, in this era that we're in now, I think compassion is probably your most important aspect in a relationship, because things are moving so fast in the external world. And if you can't keep up, or one of you stumble, you need that support.
100%.
Yeah.
And so within our men's group, we found that, men in general need support from each other, and especially those who are choosing to be not just capable, strong men, but also men who live their life in love and kindness. And that's an emphasis that I'd like to really put a lot of weight into. What I found for me in my relationship, where we've been together for 17 years, married for 15 this year. And in that entire process, the beginning stages, we made the same mistakes as everyone else does. It's weighting each other's services based on if I will do something, if she does something, and expecting her to make the first move, or getting upset or irritated or triggered by things that actually have nothing to do with her. They're 100% to do with my insecurities and my traumas. And Helene's going to give her side of this, but where this fundamentally changed for me was when we both went and saw a wonderful woman called Yvonne Oswald. And the amazing thing was, when we went to go see her, it had nothing to do with our relationship, but everything to do with our relationship. Because when we went to go see her, Helene went first because she felt she needed that break. And I was, when she said to me, would you go? And I was like, absolutely, I'll have an open mind. Let me go experience the process. And the NLP and hypnosis process is self-guided meditation, which helps you deal with your past traumas. And Helene, being someone who now has run courses and become a professional under Yvonne Oswald and is now a master NLP and hypnosis practitioner, is we've really found that point, right, which for us was in 2020, changed the dynamic of a relationship. And it changed the dynamic of a relationship for me in any way. It changed because instead of making it about her or us, I did all the self-work. So I started working on my traumas, my triggers, my emotional states, how I project myself to the world, everything that I could do, part and parcel of why our relationship now is in such a good space. And it has its ups and downs even now with all the work done, because that's just the nature of a relationship. But I found the difference for me fundamentally was I did a lot of self-work. I sorted out all those triggers, those things that are just ingrained in me. And once I figured those out, the relationship part became now a challenge point where it was now I can really dig into it and figure out how can we make this really gel. And Helene's going to give her side on this, being the hypnosis and NLP practitioner and master NLP practitioner who deals with people on a constant basis. She's going to give her insights of how that changed for us.
Yeah, I agree. Everything changed when after I went to Yvonne. The whole point of going to Yvonne was because of my own childhood traumas and all the other traumas that I never dealt with. So everything that we are seeing that's showing itself out on the surface and in the external. So every time you get triggered, we can now clearly see, and I don't know if you remember how it used to be, but it used to be very defensive.
Yes.
And it would be stuff to me would seem like, this is so bizarre. Why are we having this conversation? Like, why are we even arguing about this? I'm not saying that you're not good enough, which is, by the way, why men get defensive, is because it automatically makes them feel like that little boy they were, that were told they weren't good enough.
Yeah.
And even if they weren't specifically told that, somewhere during their childhood or upbringing or social structure, it did make them feel, anytime that they were criticized, and it's not even criticism, it's any time that they are requested to do something differently than what they're doing right now, it's this automatic defensive wall that comes up,
Yes.
which is incredibly difficult to deal with in a relationship. That is probably, I would say, for me,
I'd say almost impossible.
Yes, for me, that was the most difficult part of breaking through to you when we were having any kind of argument, because from where I was sitting, I wasn't asking Jason to change, or I wasn't asking him to not be him. I was merely pointing out a behavior that didn't sit well with me, and I wanted it to be rectified so that we could move on and go forward. But it spiraled and escalated super quick.
Yes.
Because at the time, he hadn't had the opportunity yet to actually deal with those little triggers. So those triggers can really become a flammable mess when you don't actually deal with them. And so that's why we went to Yvonne. Yvonne was really the turning point for us in everything that we're doing.
Yes.
Considering that we were refugees for such a long time, and that we really we have moved a lot.